I actually see someone that I have met before when I was at Spelman College. I used to be the provost at Spelman. And so I'm going to turn over the microphone right now because I know when I'm being upstaged by the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I heard that most of them in this room can work their hands. Somebody else is Pastor Scott. Give Pastor Scott a big hand. Pastor Scott is the pastor of the First Baptist Church in North Tulsa. And we had a leadership meeting there on yesterday in light of the crisis here. I went to the funeral of Bobby Clark, one of the three persons killed. We're having a 6 o'clock rally tonight at the church in North Tulsa. 11 o'clock tomorrow morning will be at his church for the 11 o'clock service. Hint, hint. So, we'll advertise we're having our meeting tomorrow. We're in a very sensitive season, and your meeting on your subject is so much the right thing to do. It's one thing, you know, to teach matters of social justice. To understand the academic, but then to live it out, to try to get inside the skin of victims of occupation. Let us not forget, with all the focus on Trayvon Martin, and he's being identified as a suspect and then followed and then killed. It started with a suspension. He was suspended from school for 10 days for no good reason. Until they found some marijuana residue in his bag. That means call the child's parent, meet with the principal, maybe 10 days locked in the library or something behind the computer. It means something called developmental education as opposed to cash aside. 10 days away from physics, or math, or English for that matter, 10 days away from a foreign language, suspension leads to truancy, to expulsion, and then to gangs and drugs in schools and jails and graveyards. And so in Chicago, school system, 45% African American, 45% Latino, about less than 10% white. Suspensions last year, 76% black, 20% Latino, about 8% white. Children suspended for 306,000 days. They will never catch up. They will never recover. And so it's one thing to know, to see in action and some of the charter schools are even worse because they got to maintain the students to get their money and give the pretense that they're doing such a superior job. But there is a sense of throwing away these children. That's a piece of it. Second piece, as we look at Tulsa, talking with Pastor Scott, the real burden here, frankly, is on the white church, the white synagogue. Those who have the power have the responsibility. This city has not decided yet to apologize for the Tulsa riots. It's not decided yet to attempt to repair damage done. As a matter of fact, it is taking the land that they burned down. People being driven off the land that they took by firestorm. That's an awful burden and a responsibility. It is how do you make the Good Samaritan story come alive? When you look at the person who's beaten on Jericho Road and tell them how they should get up. Where's the Samaritan in this story? Are you the rabbi who walks to the other side of the street? Are you the Levite? And who are you in this story? Telling the beaten man, I got a self-help plan for you, does not sound like the moral imperative. So at the end of the day, we're going to do something with these children that's, for some of us, is foreign, called love them. Teach them like they're your own. Love matters and love is attractive. So we're going to seek the next few days here in Oklahoma to look at some few facts in the structure of things and seek to not just be passive, but to be nonviolently aggressive. The state's about 7% African American, 16% unemployment, twice the number. 7% African American, prisons 35%. 5 times the number of people over here, people making a living off of profiling, whether it's police, judges, profiling, banks profiling, taking people's homes. And profiling is a new word for old-fashioned segregation. And the abuse of those who are least able to protect themselves. So to see you here is frankly inspiring me to see people of conscience trying to figure it out. You may not have figured out the fact that you were going to own it. You own the right to trying to figure out. We have, as I often say, we have survived the pot in our white, black, brown box. We have a more difficult challenge than surviving the pot, and that's learning how to live together. Living together is a bigger challenge than surviving the pot, but there's no reward for it. And I close by saying it's interesting how Oklahoma plays Oklahoma State, or plays LSU or something of the sort, how there's all of the joy in this uniform color, not skin color, direction, not complexion. It's us versus them. We're beyond racism for that 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon. What about that venue that allows us to go beyond these ancient fears that we have? What happens on that football field is the playing field is even. You can't inherit any yards. You can't get any yards handed down to you. You have to earn your way. Say whenever, repeat whenever.
Never.
Playing field
is
even. The rules
the public,
the goals
clear,
the referee
is
and
fair,
the score
is transparent,
we can make it.
we can make it.
Beyond the athletic field, it's not evil. And so you'll end up figuring out ways to lock kids out of the public schools and figure out how to lock them in to OU. Because you need to use them for 4 years to fill up a stadium. So we are like 70+% on the football teams in Tulsa U and Oklahoma U, right? Right? Of course, we recruit, retain, and
retain, cultivate.
One may be from a broken home, all kind of stuff in between. But if he can run that ball and tackle somebody, we'll recruit him, we'll retain him, we'll give him extra tutelage because he is important to us. If he's not important to us, we'll figure out a way. See, if he's important to us, figure out a way
to keep him.
If he's not, figure out a way to dismiss him. It almost starts that, doesn't it? It almost starts that if the child matters to you, you'll figure out a way to keep them. Because don't you figure out a way to dismiss them. And that's what puts you in the burden of trying to fight the structure of the culture. The culture is inclined. We've lost 31 black police killings, security guards killings this year, 17 since Trayvon. Trayvon has happened to be a perfect storm. The right combination of things and social media equal this form, the Trayvonizing of our time. But Trayvon is the tragic fact of the Trayvon situation, why it's more common than unique. If it was unique, you could say that kid had a problem. But there's a Trayvon in every town, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made Trayvon such an ideal force for sensitivity, because if you look into that, everything about that case is what we're looking at every day. And I want people to make sure that they notice about their hoodie, because it's not about the hoodie, it's about the race profiling. The hoodie is almost a diversion. People in one door of Walmart selling hoodies, the other door more selling these rifles. And until we come to grips with just how violent we become, my God, I mean, concealed weapons. And we said arresting Zimmerman. Arresting Zimmerman is the first down. Not a touchdown.
That's right.
Till
Repeal the standing ground laws.
ground law.
Until revive, ban on assault weapons. Until we stop race profiling. Problem will get worse. Well, it doesn't have to be. Because we have the power to make a difference. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
And I really wish you guys would connect with us. You can rainbowpush.org, rainbowpush.org. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter icon. We need you to remain connected. We need to come together some other time when we mean to meet, not just bumping each other. Because I really think the crisis in Tulsa gives you an opportunity to seize the moment. You can either seize the moment and get afraid, or you can seize the moment and be creative. I would hope that we would seize this moment and choose creativity over fear. Love you guys.